Hello there. Good morning, everyone. It's Pauline Tomlin, Insightful Angel here. And as my introductory video stated, I'm kind of taking a bit of a turn in the messages that I send out. I've had a break for a while because I knew I needed to shift. A lot of things in my life have been shifting. It's not been the easiest transition. I'm not quite sure where it's going. And I think this is all a part of that. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I'd like you to bear with me. I'm hoping that what I share basically is me serving and serving in a way that's going to support my divine melanated female. Not exclusively, because obviously we're all women, but I do recognise that there are some conversations that the melanated female, especially in the diaspora, there are certain things, certain pressures and conversations that only we have or need to have. And I feel there's not really a forum for that. I'm a bit of a mishmash of things, so this channel will probably be a mishmash of things. I'm not quite sure. I haven't sat and planned it out. But this topic this week is about the womb, the seat of the feminine power and your creativity. I know it's 7:30 on a Saturday morning. Very strange thing to be talking about. I'm barely awake. However, organically, I had two conversations with two female friends, and we started talking about childhood, and as we know, most of our lives, things that are going on in our lives often stem from the patterns that we've received in childhood. And I personally started to get a little bit tearful because I started to recall the events surrounding the onset of my menstruation. It occurred when I was pretty young. I was 10. Yeah, the boob started at 9 and the menstruation started at 10. I was not ready for it. I knew what it was, but I wasn't ready to handle that. I was a 10-year-old girl who was loving school, liked reading, liked drawing, and was doing gymnastics and all that kind of stuff. I didn't want to be handling that. But the most significant thing that I recall as I was talking to this friend of mine was what happened surrounding that. I recall being very, very nervous about telling my mother. And as a black mother in the diaspora, a single parent, she really didn't have things easy. And the epigenetic kind of pushing down of their own frustrations means that many of us had mothers who were, shall we say, quite domineering, rigid, forceful. And as a black woman from a Caribbean background, and I'm suspecting to a certain extent from the African background as well, if you're Indigenous African, very, very strict. So there was this feeling of restriction in our household. As children, you weren't allowed to express. You weren't an individual, really. You were just an expression of your family. And it was your job to make sure you didn't bring shame on the family, didn't bring shame to the household, etc. So when I told my mother that this had happened, or this was happening, her reaction was one of annoyance. That then obviously made me quite scared, imprinted on me that I'd done something wrong, that I'd disappointed yet again. I remember there was a bit of a hoo-ha, and I do remember significantly it was Easter Sunday, because those of you who are in my age group, there was a program on called Jesus of Nazareth, and it was starring an actor called Robert Powell. I don't even know where he is now, or even if he's still with us, but yeah, and he had these incredibly steely blue eyes and curly hair. And it was the first time Jesus was represented by someone who kind of looked remotely, kind of Mediterranean-y kind of thing. But I remember it was a Sunday night, it was televised, and we would watch that together. And I'd gone to the bathroom, and lo and behold, the menses had appeared. What then ensued was almost like a reluctance for her to accept it, and a real annoyance. And, well, you can't be, you're too young. And I was just like, whoa, but I am. And I couldn't do anything about it. And then there was the frustration and the annoyance because she was muttering about how, well, she'd have to be late for work and I'd have to be late for school because this was Sunday night, remember? So we'd have to wait till Monday morning to get any kind of sanitary protection. My dread was going into school late because I was never late to school. I was never off. The only time I was ever off school was when I sprained my ankle, not broke it, sprained my ankle playing basketball with Mrs. Pickering, and ended up having to be off for a week. And my whole school life, that is the only time I was off school. So I was then like, what am I going to say? And that created even more tension, even more dread in me. So already this event, which should really be a rite of passage for the female, a celebration, something that is treated with gentleness and divinity, has already got nothing but tension, frustration, anger, rage, disappointment, all of those things, all of those energies surrounding this event. And we go to the chemist, I end up getting those pads that, don't know, well, I'm in, middle-aged women will know, those pads that are kind of like a, basically it was a big sanitary towel with loops on the end, and you used to wear a sanitary belt with it. I didn't get the belt, but I had to put that in my pants. She wouldn't even get me the stick-on ones, because I think the sticky ones were shorter and they were new. They were a new invention. And I wanted those ones. No. And obviously, as she said, absolutely no to tampons. I didn't even know what they were, and I wouldn't have been able to use them. And I know there's no way my mother is going to show me how to use one. So what I'm trying to get to is that they say that everything is energy, and I know this to be true. Everything is spirit. Spirit is everywhere, and everything is energy. Now, you imagine, for me, that was the energy around a very, very significant moment in my life. A moment when I transitioned from being a girl to a woman. A moment when I should have been celebrated, or my womb should have been celebrated, for having such power, energy, and creativity. I looked up the definition of womb today, and it said it's the seat of your creativity. Imagine then if our thoughts around the seat of our creativity are ones of annoyance every time it comes. We get the old trope, the old joke of, oh, she's on her period, as a kind of explanation for bad behaviour, moodiness, upset, etc. But where's the care when a woman's going through that period of time? It's your body showing you that although you have this massive potential to create life, and although it didn't happen this time, you need to be caring for yourself. You need to be gentle with yourself as this flushing takes place. The womb is an incredible organ. It's like this. It's kind of pear-shaped, yeah? Like this. And an avocado, actually, is shaped like your womb. This one's not very particularly pear-shaped because some of them have a higher top. And the nutrients in an avocado are absolutely amazing for your womb. And when you start to research these things, it becomes really quite clear how nature knows what it's doing. Spirit knows what it's doing. The divine, divinity, they know what they're doing, and it's all connected. This fruit is amazing for your womb because it looks like your womb. It's meant to feed your womb. So I would advise, ladies, if you like them, eat avocado, okay? Try and get organic ones if you can, because obviously that's where you're going to get the best nutrients. As the seat of your creativity, imagine now that you're now annoyed at that seat of creativity. You're frustrated every time it comes. And no wonder there's pain for many of us. because we're rejecting it. There's a rejection of it. And you know, what you resist persists. Yeah? So if you have a daughter, I think we need to change our attitude to our womanhood, change how we view ourselves, change how we speak to our bodies. And after this conversation this week, when I went for it wasn't a run, it was a geriatric shuffle around the park yesterday, I started to talk to my womb as I was walking. I apologised to my womb for all the negative things I'd thought and said about my womb. Is it any wonder if the energy that we're putting out towards that beautiful seat of creativity then ends up diseased, ends up with fibroids, ends up not being able to bring forth life, ends up with all kinds of endometriosis, all kinds of things that are pulling away from it, when in society and in life, the feminine essence has often been under attack. And I know from my experience and from the experience that I was sharing, my girlfriends were sharing, that many of us have had similar experiences. There has been no tenderness. There has been no kind of expression of glee at the fact that you're now transitioning. There's just been fear, okay? And much of that fear comes from their epigenetic trauma. Some of that fear comes from the thought of, oh my God, now this means she has the potential to get pregnant, when the last thing on our minds as 10, 11, 12, 13, and even 15, 16-year-old girls is getting anything to do with sexuality or getting involved in sexuality in any way. And if we allow ourselves to nurture that womb, to celebrate that womb, to see it as the magnificent organ that it is, seriously, then perhaps many of us will have easier times with our wombs. And also, we'll automatically start to recognize the magnificence and power of ourselves as females and as a feminine essence. I looked up some of the things that are amazing about the womb, and I'll just share some of them with you because it is an incredible organ. So here are some of the things that you need to know about your womb, all right? And you may or may not know. But the womb has always been under attack, and that means our essence as feminines, as divine feminines, is often under attack. I don't know about you, but I've noticed in my lifetime the massive increase in caesarean section. It seems like at the drop of the hat, a woman's hardly given the opportunity to birth her children naturally. They're offering caesareans because it's easier, it's convenient. But for whom? For the doctors. And still to this day, the majority of them are male. They're cutting into you, cutting into the seat of your creativity, your feminine essence and power. Hysterectomy, apparently, is the second most common surgery performed in the United States. Ripping it out. Is it always necessary? And maybe those hysterectomies would lessen if we actually revered, honoured, and spoke to our womb in a way that was gentle and healthy, so that the womb could continue to be creative, pulse brightly, be flowing and healthy, keep us as women healthy. Maybe we'd have a lot less of those hysterectomies going on if we weren't at a young age taught to attack the very seat of who we are. Apparently there are hundreds of toxic chemicals which are now infiltrating our wombs, okay? And that's being detected now in the amniotic fluid around our children. So the chemicals from the cleaning fluids, the chemicals they're putting in the water is now attacking us inside and starting to surround our babies, you know, and that's shocking. But the power of the womb is incredible. It is super strong, yeah. When we're labouring to push a baby out, right, it's the strongest force exerted by any muscle in the body, okay? Now, the Guinness Book of Records says it's the jaw, right? But guess what? The Guinness Book of Records is going to be measured by people externally. People don't want to devise a tool that can measure the power of the uterus in labour, all right? Because it's not valued as the strongest muscle, because the uterus isn't valued, therefore we as feminines are often undervalued as a result. It is flexible, right? If you think about it, this stretches to the size of a balloon and beyond, doesn't it? That's incredibly flexible. And then it pops back again after you've had the baby. Super strong and super stretchy. Menstrual blood is rich in stem cells. Each month when we're fertile, right, we create that endometrial layer, don't we? Okay. And when the baby's not conceived, then it flushes away as the menstrual cycle. The abundance of stem cells in the menstrual blood are now being used to treat things like Parkinson's disease, Lou Gehrig's disease, diabetes, wounds, etc., right? But we as women create the most abundant source of stem cells during our menstrual cycle. But it's more ethical to farm them from newborns of aborted fetus. That's what they're doing predominantly to get stem cells, rather than from menstrual blood, because of the cultural taboos surrounding our cycle. You know, people still, it's like disdainful, it's disgusting, it's not looked at as something to be revered, which it should be. When we have our orgasms, the uterus contracts, and when you have a uterine orgasm, many women have reported that when they go into that and deepen it, it deepens the orgasm that they have and the release that they have. There are some facts about the uterus which show that it's connected to the universe, all right? The moon cycle is 29.5 days, and the average woman's menstrual cycle is 29.5 days. Those whose cycle is closest to 29.5 days have been shown to be the most fertile. There are 13 moon cycles in a calendar year. The average age that a girl starts to menstruate is 13. And the average age of menopause is 52. And guess what? There are 52 weeks in a year. There are 4 weeks to a woman's menstrual cycle on average, and there are 4 seasons in a year. Ancient menstrual calendars had notches of bone on them, okay? And women's wombs hold a powerful connection to the astronomical cycles of the earth, the sun, and the moon. Your uterus grows a placenta. And you know, if you look at a placenta and you look at the umbilical cord, it's a physical manifestation of the nurturing of the mother and the child, and it's released, obviously, after the birth. They have a pattern on it, the umbilical cord and the placenta, and the arteries in it just look like the tree of life. If you ever look at a diagram of placenta, it looks like the tree of life. Well, that's exactly what it is. It is life. We are life. We are life force, life givers. We are creativity, and we need to honour that. We need to bless that. We need to honour it. Apparently placenta, here it says, comes from the English and actually means a round, flat cake. What do we do on our birthdays? We have a round, flat, well, not flat, but we have a round cake to celebrate the anniversary of our birth. So it's all connected. And the most amazing thing that the uterus can do, it grows a human being. I mean, when you look and think about that, it literally blows your mind. When I woke up this morning,
8 hours.
I did my meditation and I asked Spirit, you keep forcing me and pushing me and prodding me, because Spirit's been pushing me and prodding me, saying, you need to do this, you need to do this. I have no idea what form this will take. It'll probably be a mishmash of things. All I hope is that the information here is useful, and that from this we can grow a community of women who will support each other, and we can have those conversations that need to be had, and we can start to change some of the things that are manifesting for us in our external realities, that we don't want to be there, but we're getting trapped perhaps in how that's manifesting because we're not recognising and understanding what's going on. I know I've had to reinvent myself lots of times. I've been through some crap in my life, let me tell you. And for some reason, the universes keep saying it, you need to share it, you need to share it, you need to share it. I hope that what I've shared here today has helped you reevaluate who you are as woman, who you are as melanated female, because some of the conversations we as melanated females have around our femininity, around our wombs, have been particularly damaging. We're often left to deal with it ourselves once we've been told what to do. There have been men in our lives, and I know many of us have experienced, whether melanated or not, have experienced rape. Why? If we manifest everything, if we look at ourselves as being energetic manifesting beings, and we manifest everything that happened to us, then we are manifesting that. Where does that come from? What have we been thinking and saying and doing to manifest rape, to manifest any kind of abuse, to manifest ill health within our womb area or within any parts of our bodies? And more often than not, it comes from the things that we've been thinking about ourselves, the things we've been saying to ourselves, the things we've been programmed to think and say to and about ourselves. One of the things I realised was, well, if I'm annoyed every month when this thing comes, then perhaps all of those years and years of annoyance and dislike and rejection of this thing has meant that that's been physically manifested as the abuse that I suffered, the rejection of my femininity that I suffered. And I know it's difficult, ladies, to think that it was on you. I'm not saying it's on you, but what I'm saying is the patterns that we've been brought in, and society does it too. Society doesn't honour our femininity. Society doesn't honour our menstrual cycle. Society doesn't have rituals, and positive rituals around us becoming women. But you'll get the father taking the son out and having a ritual around him becoming a man, whether that be 18, it was 21 when I was younger. Where are the feminine rituals around our transition into womanhood? So perhaps this message, this video, will help you maybe reevaluate and think about the things that you say to yourself around your sexuality, around your uterus, around your femininity. And you'll start to shift some of the external realities. How can you attract a mate that respects you and respects your sexuality and your femininity if you're not respecting it yourself? If you've constantly been denigrating it, if it's annoying to you, if it's frustrating to you, if you've rejected it, resented it, then how can our womb and our uterus bring forth optimum health? And if it's the seat of our creativity, how then can we be fully realised as women if the seat of our creativity, the very thing that makes us able to be our fullest, most expanded expression of ourselves, is being attacked here and also being attacked externally? So if you as a woman, much like me, have felt frustrated that you've not been able to step into your best self, perhaps it starts with the things we've been saying about our wombs, the things we've said about our uterus, the attitude that we've had to our menstrual cycle. When I did my meditation today, I shuffled my tarot, and I'll show you them here. I'm a bit obsessed, I will admit. I am into the tarot, and I have this beautiful new set here, and I just want to show you some of the illustrations from them because they're absolutely incredible. Can you see that one? I don't know, can you see that there? Yeah, that's death. Beautiful illustrations. This is the tarot, the Mary L tarot. We've got the 8 of Cups there. Absolutely stunning illustrations. This one is the Devil. Can you see that? Don't know, it's a bit shine there. There you go. Okay, and one of the things I love about tarot is that they often have really beautiful illustrations. Look at the Page of Cups. Look at that. Yeah, incredible. Now what I did was, because I just thought, what is the essence of this talk? Sorry, I've just dropped something. Let me just pick them up here. Sorry about that. What is the essence of what it is I'm trying to say here? And I asked Spirit to guide me. And if I came out of my meditation, I shuffled the cards, and this is what came out. Can you see that? If you can see that, it's a lion. Yeah. So there's a feminine hand there with some beads around it. And this card is one of the major arcana cards, and it's number 11, and it's the card of strength. So Spirit's message to us today, in me talking about the womb, our menstrual cycle, is that your strength and your power comes from your uterus. Your womb is the seat of your creativity. Honour it, bless it, talk gently to it. I've been Pauline Tomlin, Insightful Angel. I hope, really hope, that this helps someone out there perhaps rethink and get a deeper handle on some of the things that are going on in their life, and maybe makes a connection to the way that they've been treating their very essence, the way they've been speaking about their very essence. I know I have work to do in this area. I know if I want to manifest the relationship that I want, I need to honour my creativity and my womanhood and my femininity, and it starts with me. So I hope this has been useful for you. I don't know how long each video is going to be, but blessings to you all, to the sisterhood, to the deeply melanated females, and to those who are not melanated, who may be watching. I hope you get some blessings, you get some love and light from this. Take care. Bye.